Bryce Rose, they will lead Barry Smith and Stu Dorr into turn number one. A great start from Mark Halls and Jeff Davies. They are tied on points in the F2, and we've got the Chris and Richie Lawrence show there. The Lawrence brothers on that Coleman Suzuki. They're in there, so sitting in about third place, trying to get involved in that front two. Great fight there. So look out, Mark Halls and Jeff Davies are in fourth place in the race. First the F2s, we've got Dan Franzen doing the passenger for Brian Stent there, and that is a result there. So they're 1 and 2. We've got Pete and Michael Dowman, they are there behind. So that's 1, 2 and 3, and then look out for the Penrite machine there in behind. So well done to Bert and the team. Just tucked in behind, and then Tracy Bryan and Joe Mickelson. Now they are the ones with a little bit of work to do on that 28, the small Carl Cox motorsport machine. F2 leaders in the points. They're tied with Mark Halls and Jeff Davies. So with the two races here today, it's going to be pretty exciting to see what unfolds. We've also got 11 quality competitors in our sidecar lineup, so look out for this. This is a 8-lap sprint race. We've got a 10-lapper later on this afternoon, and that will be for the New Zealand Formula 1 and Formula 2 Grand Prix. The sidecar racing, as they were not at our Grand Prix weekend at round number 3 at Ruapuna Raceway. So look out down the back straight. That is where our race leaders are at the moment. It's the number 12 Boss Engineering Aprilia machine of Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. Won here yesterday and took that brilliant 15-point lead in the championship. So it's now plenty of work to do for Barry Smith and Stu Dorr, who are there in quality second place on that Carl Cox Motorsport City Honda long bike. 1 and 2 for those guys out there. Then go back to the 11. Well done to the Lawrence brothers. They are looking for 3NZ in Formula 1 sidecar action, so we wish them the best of luck for today, as they've got that all to look forward to. And they have a 33-point advantage back to Michael Wallen and Isaac Taylor. So that's the update we can give you there. So this is going to be cool. Two different classes acknowledged by MNZ for the first time, as we see getting pretty exciting through the S's for the 57 of Dan Franzen on the back of that machine. Brian Stent doing the driving, Dan doing the passengering. So they are second now in the F2 category. With in behind them, it's going to be the Penrite Oils entry, Michael Wallen and Isaac Taylor. Isaac doing the passengering there. One of the greatest haircuts in the road racing paddock, and looking fantastic there. So they are sitting in 4th in the class, 7th in the race. Then look out for the 28. It's Tracy Bryan, Joe Mickelson with a bit of a charge on the cards here now, and they are doing a wonderful job now. Up into 3rd in the Formula 2 class, 8th in the race. And you've also got Bryce Rickard, Darren Prentice in 9th place, Nick Plogue and Marcelo Pangella in 10th, and Peter Preda and Paul Jenkins on that Steve Wells Formula 1 Yamaha machine. That is 11th place at the moment. So cool to see 11 sidecars out and about. We've got 2 classes on the championships this year. And we've had some mighty fine racing throughout the summer, and right now, that 15-point crucial lead in the championship. Can we see Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose win that New Zealand Superbike for the first time? The New Zealand Sidecar Championship for the first time is appearing. They have got the bit between the teeth, a 2-second lead, and the fastest lap, 1:38.6 that time around. So that's pretty quick around here for the second lap of a race. And yeah, that 2-second lead back to Barry Smith and Stu Dorr in second place. Chris and Richie Lawrence there in third. Just 7 seconds off the race lead. Then go back about another 8 tenths to Mark Halls and Jeff Davies there. They are leading that Formula 2 category. And looking at Dan and Brian in 5th. We've got Michael and Isaac in 6th. And then we've got the girls, Tracy and Joe. And they're about what would be 8 seconds off that F2 leading pair of Mark Halls and Jeff Davies, who are right on the back wheel of the Richie and Chris Lawrence brothers show there. So can Mark maybe mix it up with the Formula 1 boys there? That'd be a pretty big scalp to be taken there. The Lawrence brothers have been fantastic all summer, and they have got, like we say, 33 points back to Michael and Isaac in that championship. So 3NZ well and truly on the cards for the Lawrence brothers, still doing it and still loving it. And fabulous to see. So that's our couple of podiums we've got on the cards. We've got 6 laps to go. And another one of these 8-lap races. So short races here before we go to the lunch break. We've got our Supersport 150 there. 5th race of the weekend. That will be next. Another 5-lapper for them. Then we'll go to our lunch break at approximately 12:15. And then after that, we've got some hard and fast action. It's going to be the 14-lap 600 Supersport race straight after the lunch break. That'll be fabulous to watch, as this is starting to heat up at the front of the sidecars. Adam Unsworth, Bryce Rose, they have now been reeled in by Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. Quickest lap of the race now for that City Honda Carl Cox Motorsport rig in second place. The number one defending champions want to make a statement. If they can't win the championship, they at least want to try and finish the season on a high. They've had ups and downs, and it's been fabulous to keep a hold of that journey there. One of the highlights for them winning that New Zealand TT last weekend at Hampton Downs. We've also got the Grand Prix later on this afternoon, so that would be a pretty bittersweet moment there for that defending champion pairing of Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. If they can come here, win a couple today, get that championship fight really close and win the TT last week and the GP today, that may be just what the doctor ordered. There's still a long way to go. We've still got 5 laps in this one, and we've got a massive 10-lapper later on this afternoon. So absolutely anything can happen in sidecar racing. So it's not done and dusted yet, but it is a 15-point lead in the championship. So if they can come home in a couple of second placings today, it'll be more than enough points to try and hang on to what will be their first New Zealand Sidecar Championship as a pairing. And a lot of hard work and dedication gone into that brilliant Aprilia RSV4 engine in the sidecar as part of the Boss Engineering race team. Certainly quick as it comes down the back straight. We've got Baz and Stu right there, second place. Not much in it now. It was over 2 seconds at one stage in this race, but the work done by Barry Smith and Stu Dorr have got that to well less than half a second now as they go into the flip-flop. This is going to be quite an exciting one as we come to the halfway stage of our race 2 of the weekend for our sidecars. And looking at the lap times, pretty exciting stuff. So no change to the fastest lap. The fastest lap is still with Barry Smith and Stu Dorr, a 1:38.1 lightning quick lap times here for sidecar racing, and fabulous to watch. So still got 11 sidecars out there. I'll give you an update here. It is that fight between Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose doing the pass-steering for Adam. Barry Smith and Stu Dorr, that is 1 and 2. Chris and Richie Lawrence still there in third place, but only 0.6 of a second up on Mark Halls and Jeff Davies, who are leading the Formula 2 category. We've got Brian Stent and Dan Franzen there in fifth, but look out for the girls. They are hot on the heels. So Tracy Bryan, Joe Mickelson will need to get ahead of Brian and Dan, and then start hunting down Mark and Jeff if they want to try and keep this championship fight alive. This is going to be pretty exciting with 4 laps to go. And we've got Bryce Rickard and Darren Prentice there in 7th place. We've got Peter and Michael Dowman there in 8th. They are in what would be 4th place in that Formula 2 category. We've got Nick Plogue, Marcella Pangella there in 9th, and Peter Bradder and Paul Jenkins are there in 10th. And unfortunately, the no timing screen coming up for our 16 pairing of Michael and Isaac, so hopefully everything okay for that Penrite Kiwi Bike insurance machine. So look out, an 11 strong field of super sidecars, and this is pretty special for the race fans here, Neil.
Oh, look, I just find this incredible because when we look back through here, folks, I've got to tell you, 55 we've got is Pete Dowman and Michael Dowman. So Pete dad and now Michael's son. But last week that was Pete and Lucy. So Lucy daughter, she was swinging. And then now is the team. They're a beautiful family, and don't think that it's all of them as well as others behind the team as well. So fabulous to see. Speaking about partners and family and that, you've got out there, you've got Brian Stent and Dan Franzen. Now that's cool because right behind him you've got Tracy Bryan and Joe Mickelson. What's special about that is that Tracy Bryan was a Stent, so you've got a brother and sister that are 5th and 6th respectively out there, and they're both on F2s as well, so let's put that into context, so they're in the same class. And by the way, the swingers, Dan Franzen and Joe Mickelson, well in real life they're partners, so hey, how's that? You've got a brother and sister and a partner relationship as 2 combos out there, so you know it's all about our family, and so good to see. Remembering of course that we had Stu Dorr, he used to swing for Adam Unsworth as well, and now you've got Bryce Rose on board, and they've got Barry Smith who's picked up doing Stu. You've got the Lawrence brothers out there, the famous Chris and Richie, and what a great book by Chris Lawrence as well. Check it out, folks. It's an amazing book to talk about the life. And as for their mother and father, who were English imports into our grunt country many 40 plus years ago, and a beautiful family, can tell a great story. The late great Frank Lawrence, folks, he would just absolutely love to be here today. He really would have wanted to have seen this circuitous glory, because as a Taupo man, he was down on the original little track down at the other end of this complex that first started here, and he actually created a street race here in Taupo many years ago as well, in Meadow Street, which is just down the road from here in the industrial area. So Frank, the memories live on. A very special man indeed. So there's our family relationships, and it's so cool in our sport, because if you notice as well, Brad, of course, all of the sidecar crews, they're all sort of pitting close to, there's no enemy wars going on with people at opposite ends or not talking or anything like that. Love your sidecars. You're a special part of our group. Yes, we didn't have you in the South Island for rounds 3 and 4. There's very few sidecars down there, and it was sort of talked about but it's a hell of a long way to go to promote what is not a very strong part of our sport. So they've been able to save themselves. So when you look at points, when you look at comparisons, they've actually done effectively only 3 rounds compared to the 5 that the two-wheel fraternity have done. It's nothing against Sidecars, far from it. It's just a practical outcome of not having them in the South Island. So they can save their resources. Effectively, they haven't raced since Boxing Day, and then they came out last week, so that would have been 8 weeks of good recovery time of what they've been able to do. So pretty special to see our event overall unfolding here, and Sidecars part of our family, Brad.
Yeah, this is fabulous. So this battle for the lead is heating up. It's now less than half a second in it. The number 12 is in a big bit of trouble here as the Barry Smith and Stu Dorr show rolls on, and they into turn number 8, that beautiful sweeping left-hander. They're going to go hard into turn number 9. There's only a lap and a half left of this one here. The white flag is about to come out. And this is a pivotal part of the championship for our Formula 1 and Formula 2 sidecars. If it finishes like this, it will be a 20-point lead for the F1 pairing of Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. And also, if we finish in this order here, it'll be that 5-point advantage taken into the final race of the day for Mark Halls and Jeff Davies. So 2 laps to go with that gap between them. 11.8 seconds between Mark Halls and Jeff Davies and Tracy Bryan and Joe Mickelson. So that looks like a bridge too far to climb for the girls at the moment. And it's going to all come to a head later on today. The sidecar Grand Prix up for grabs. Fabulous to get involved with that one there. As out of turn 14, our leading pair come. And there it is for Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose right there. But look at the gap now. It's less than half a second. 0.4 between Barry Smith and Stu Dorr and Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. So look out, this is going to be a hell of a last lap as Baz tries to get right on the back of that machine. That Aprilia rig of Adam and Bryce is just so strong out of the corners. It's going to be a fabulous last lap to keep an eye on here. And then also someone else to keep an eye on. Can Chris and Richie Lawrence hang on to that 3rd place in the race? It's Mark Halls and Jeff Davies. They're in behind, but different classes, and it'll be just like Mark. It'll try and leave it all on the track here. He's the total 7 so far this summer, so this one, if he can hang on for another lap, he will take a 5-point lead into this afternoon's sidecar Grand Prix for Formula 2s as we come to an end here, this 8-lapper. Coming up after this one here, we've got Supersport 150 as well. That's going to be a 5-lap race, and then we're into our lunch break. So look out, plenty of action still to come. Do not go anywhere, as this final lap is going to be one to remember here. Coming out of our favourite turn 11 here, Siberia, right up the top end of Taupo International Motorsport Park. Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose leading the Carl Cox Motorsport City Honda pairing of Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. There's not a hell of a lot in it. Can we see something shaken up? The other great battle we've got is in 2 different classes, the 11 of Chris and Richie Lawrence and the 69 of Mark Halls and Jeff Davies. But I think coming down the back straight, our race leaders, and they think they might have done enough. They've got a little bit of a buffer as they brake hard and go into the flip-flop. The number 12, they've got the 15-point lead in the championship coming into this one here. This is going to extend it out another 5 points, and they're going to go to a 20-point lead with the checkered flag waving. The Boss Engineering Aprilia rig takes the win. They are ecstatic and have to look at odds-on favourites to take out our New Zealand Formula 1 sidecar Grand Prix. Barry Smith and Stu Dorr come home in 2nd place. They're credited with the fastest lap of the race, so that will be something they can take away from that one. They're lapping in the 1:37.9, so the only pairing to go into the 1:37, so they know if they can get a good start, they will be quite hard to beat in this enthralling New Zealand sidecar Grand Prix coming up later on. We've got Chris and Richie Lawrence coming down the back straight. They look like they have done enough to hang on to that 3rd place, and then in behind them, a great showing from that CTR Chris Rowe Racing machine. Mark Halls and Jeff Davies, they are going to come home in 4th place in this race, but that'll be the first of the F2s, and they will take the lead in that championship. Now, it was locked on points with Tracy and Joe this morning. 5-point lead now, and with that massive 5 race wins to their name, they will have the advantage on the countback if they tie on points at the end of the series. So excitement to the max as Tracy and Joe come through in 5th place. Again, looking at lap times, they're much quicker than Mark and Jeff in some places on this racetrack, so they will know they've got the pace to do it, and it's going to be all on. Brian Stent, Dan Franz, and well done to them. They come home in 6th of the race. That'll be the 3rd for the Formula 2 category, and well done to the St John's Foursquare pairing there in 6th place. 7th for Bryce Rickard and Darren Prentice, brilliant for them, and then go back to Peter and Michael Dowman in 8th. Nick Bloke, Marcelo Pangella will be there in 9th, ahead of Peter Bradder and Paul Jenkins. That is a wrap of our top 10. Unfortunately, the DNF for Michael and Isaac, so hopefully everything okay with that Penrite Kiwi Bike Insurance machine. We should see them back out for the Grand Prix later on this afternoon. So that's a wrap of our sidecars, Formula 1 and Formula 2, both 2 different categories. and brilliant to see that there. But that telling blow in the championship now, a 20-point advantage to Adam and Bryce. There'll be absolute jubilation down there at Boss Engineering, Aprilia race team. They do such a fantastic job, and they've done a lot of work over the last few years, and this will be some awesome reward if they can hang on to that. They've got the advantage and the box seat for the championship and the Grand Prix later on. It's going to be tantalising, and we're going to cross down to Neil to catch up with our two different classes. There's 3 pairings in each class, so 12 interviews coming up next, so we'll get down to Neil so we can get underway with that one there, our sidecar podium, and then after that we'll get our Supersport 150, their 5th race of the weekend, coming up next.
Well, it's important to talk about the F1 and F2 machines, because when you do come down and have a look, folks, they are very different machines in their own right. The whole engineering of them is quite different. Gives you an idea, of course, of F2 sidecars are the sidecar of choice in the likes of the UK and Irish series, Isle of Man and others. So very different machines, much more rideable. One of those things, our podium is a little bit tight when it comes to our sidecar fraternity. So yeah, exactly. Thank you. We'll bring those over a little bit. So probably not quite enough room to squeeze down the side here at this stage. So yeah, some hard work I know to do back here. So here's Jan. She's just going to give a shout out to the boys now. Richie wanted to do. He doesn't want to say. Come on, mate. It's talk to Chris. Oh, damn! I was hoping I could get it. I was hoping I could get a chat out of him. But no, Chris will. There's an opportunity, so we'll get on over here. First of all, Taupo, mate. Special memories.
Oh yeah, great place. I love the place. I even work here now, so it's pretty cool. I know the track pretty good, and. Sorry, Richard doesn't want to talk to you. He just doesn't like talking to anyone. So.
It's not a sorry. It's not a sorry. Far from it, mate. It's the type of man that he is, and what a man too. Some great history. What inspires you two to still go racing?
I try and beat these old fellas one day, you know. In that last race, hopefully.
The last race. Well done, matey. Well done. Fabulous to see. And as we take the line up here, look at that. Thank you, Adam. Adam's quickly over here. First of all, Stu couldn't quite be as fast as last weekend. So what are you going to do to win the last one?
We gave it a small tune-up overnight. Probably should have stuck a new tyre on for today. Yeah, so it was a little bit hairy out there. We couldn't really push as hard as we like. Then sort of got close to Adam, but then we got bought by a back marker a little bit, just enough for him to get in front. So yeah, we'll just consolidate second place and take those points.
Good to see. Barry, you can get the Team Carl Cox Motorsport cap on. First of all, Barry, the highs and lows of life and racing. You put so much into it this year. It's been sort of just things haven't quite gelled. Is it a polite answer?
Very polite. I know I haven't been feeling too well this weekend. I've had it full of cold, and yeah, so it's been a bit of a struggle, but enough of the excuses. I mean, they were just a bit quicker down the straights, and we just got to work on that for next season. As Stu said, we could have probably done with a new tyre on the back. We took a gamble on the one we raced on yesterday, which felt really good, but I was just lining up a move on that last lap, which I thought would pay off, but we got balked by a back marker and just left us too much of a gap. So we'll try again in the next one.
We'll be waiting for the next one. Hey team, we'll be waiting for the next one. Story of our lives, isn't it? Hey, story of our lives. So well done. So here we are. We're over the back here, and Bryce is making it quiet here. Hey mate, this has got to be special, doesn't it? It's family, isn't it? What it's all about?
It's definitely all about family, mate. The high fives, the passion and the yelling, and my boy just had his first birthday today, George. So
Oh, nice one. So well done. Look at that. Wants to hold on just like Dad does. Mud Flap Racing. I don't know about them, mate. That's a bad crew, that.
Oh, she's a Kyrgyzstan fan, mate.
Really?
She's a Kyrgy girl.
She's a Kyrgy girl. Oh, Kyrgy. Isn't that beautiful? Mate, you got the high five first, Adam. Dad's on the back. He's in second place.
Yeah, well, that's right. He couldn't reach you, see, I could.
Exactly. Yeah, here indeed. Hey, cool race out there?
Yeah, it was great, yeah. No, we've got a better start. I think we've found the issue with the starts. So, yeah, no, look, it was a really enjoyable race, you know.
Well done, matey, well done. And quickly, just back here, we might be stalling a little bit. In fact, we will. We'll go to the next race. Sorry, we'll try and come back. Brad, do the start. I want to come back to the F2s.
All right, getting excited here.